Today, I'm speaking with age reversal expert and epigenetic specialist, Larisa Petrini. Today, we're talking about the importance of sleep and how we can get a good sleep when we should be going to sleep and everything that we can do to improve our sleep hygiene. So enjoy. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast for this week. This week, we are speaking to age reversal expert and epigenetic specialist, Larisa Petrini. Hi, Larisa. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm great. Great. I'm preparing to, as I mentioned earlier, to leave for 10 days. I'm going to work remotely from Greece. So my energy is very, very, very...
It's already on vacation.
Yeah, already there. Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
Wonderful. So age reversal, I mean, we're all down with that, especially at this time of our life. And I know that there are certain components that are really important when we're looking at how do we physically, chronologically kind of reverse our age. Because, what 50 is now is not what 50 used to be. It's not our mother's 50. We have
Absolutely.
So much more vitality and energy and all of that. I know that one thing we want to talk about today is one of the main components is sleep. Now, I don't know if anyone else can relate to this who's listening to this podcast right now, but seeing I'm in the throes of the pause, sleep is elusive. It's difficult. Either I find it difficult to get to sleep, or I do get to sleep and then I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I have what we call the duvet dance. So I have the covers on and I have the covers off, sweating, night sweats, whatever you call that. So let's maybe just drill back and go, okay, well, why is sleep so important specifically for reversing age?
Well, first of all, and you kind of highlighted that in your intro, from my perspective, sleep is probably the most underestimated health factor. Although it has a huge, I would say not even major, but huge influence on our physical, mental, and also emotional health, specifically emotional. If I would need to or have to do a top, I would start with emotional health. And speaking of not only your challenges, my challenges as well, I just turned 43, so things are changing and it's surprising for me too. I know everything in theory, and then the practice comes in, right? Life kicks in, and I'm like, oh, I'm in that specific stage of my life in which I wake up around 4 a.m. What's going on here? So it looks like 30% first of all, we spend 30% of our life sleeping. And I also checked some statistics in regards to how many, the percentage of women dealing or having challenges around sleep or with sleep. And it's a significant percentage from my perspective. It looks like 30 up to 40% of women have issues with their sleep.
Right.
Now, when we say issue or challenges, there are two types of challenges we might encounter. The first type of challenge, and we usually have awareness around this one, is the number of hours. So for most women and people in general, if they manage to sleep for 7, sometimes 8 hours, they think it's okay or good enough.
Right.
The other one is the quality of our sleep. And this is way more important from my perspective. And I will also want to talk about the timing of sleep as well, because when we go to sleep is also very important. So the top would be when we go to sleep, and then the quality, how and this is something I even wear this, I love this specific tool. I don't even know if I should call it tool or not, this ring, because I can have a look into their app and see the quality of our sleep, how much deep sleep I had and what happened during the night. So timing, quality, and then quantity of sleep. Now, it looks like, and this was surprising for me, and I'm sure it's a surprise for your listeners as well. We sleep 2 hours less than we did a century ago. And this is about quality, right? It's about quality, and of course it's about quantity as well, because instead of 9 hours or 9 hours and a half, we sleep 7, sometimes even less. And again, the percentages are different, and they're different for everyone. And specifically for women in their 40s and beyond, things are not so positive, right? So we start waking up around 4, and this is one of the, the 4 a.m. wake ups. It's something that I hear a lot from my clients, and have to do. This is very much linked with melatonin. This is one of the 3 very important hormones involved in the quality of our sleep. Now, what happens when we sleep enough and also the quality is right? As I said in the beginning, sleep is a force multiplier. I like to call it like that because it has the power to literally magnify the results we get from food, from what we eat, the results we get from movement, the results we also get from breathing if we do it properly. That's a very interesting conversation, separate conversation, and then even hydration. So when we sleep enough, we eat less. And this is the reason why I wanted so much to move from nutrition and do this as an additional certification, because there is a very, very strong link between the way we lose weight and how we manage our weight in general and sleep. So we eat less, and we also have a faster rate of weight loss.
Right.
Another thing happening there, and this has to do with emotional and mental health, we are more productive. We can focus, we can perform, we can take better decisions. There are statistics showing us the fact that most accidents were done by people, either drivers or someone who was in charge with that specific task, who was deprived from sleep.
Right.
Better immunity, and we want that, especially now after COVID. Yes. And everyone has, the level of awareness in regards to immunity is way higher. Better skin health. Our skin looks literally glowing, more glowing and shiny when we sleep enough. Emotional regeneration, better relationships, I like to say, because when we sleep enough, we don't snap at other people or at our kids. We are not angry, cranky, and so on. So this is another one. Our hormones, and this is important in our if we are in this, I am in this period that is premenopausal. So there are 10 years before getting into menopause in which our hormones are out of place anyways. This is naturally happening in our body, whether we like it or not. So putting our hormones back in balance is very much related to the quality of our sleep. So if we want to have these hormones balanced and to balance our hormones, the number one thing we should do is definitely change what's on our plate. The second thing we should do is to fix our sleep, or to pay attention to our sleep hygiene. Lower level of inflammation in our body in general. And I'm talking here about what we call silent inflammation or chronic inflammation. It's called silent because we are not aware necessarily about the fact that our body is inflamed. So I don't talk about the type of inflammation you would get when you cut your finger.
Right.
And then lower risk of cancer and infection. There are studies on this, and I'm happy they came out. I hope this will help everyone to become more aware and change things around their sleep and be more mindful in regards to that. Decreased pain, stronger bones, and then also lower risk of Alzheimer and Parkinson, dementia. There is a list of specific diseases that have to do with cognitive decline. So all these are happening when we pay attention, we become aware, and we take care of our sleep.
Right.
Now, when we lack sleep, there are bigger chances, it looks like, and this is a very interesting study, it looks like the chances to gain weight are 3 times more. So we triple the chance to gain weight and to actually lose control around that. And the explanation is very simple. Our brain is losing glucose, a significant process of glucose, and because of that, our body, the next day, our body is fighting to put back the glucose. So what happens there, we have specific cravings for sugar, and also in general for refined carbs, and then also for junk food. So if we want to avoid that, we need to take care of our sleep. Cardiovascular diseases are on the list as well. We are less creative. We are more distracted. Our emotional, our social life is affected, and so on. So sleep is important. That would be my conclusion. It's definitely important. And I will also want to mention the fact that after one single night of sleep deprivation, anyone becomes or behaves the same way someone who is insulin resistant would behave. So someone with type 2 diabetes would behave.
Right.
This in simple, if we would have to translate this in more simple words, I would say this means or equals or is making us prone to age faster, decrease libido, this is also happening, and also help our body to store more body fat or store fat. So we don't want this, especially in our midlife years. And we don't want this because our metabolism is slowing down anyways. We are losing some muscle mass there. There are things happening inside our body. And of course, if we add this, things are not getting nice. Right. I'm trying my best to avoid to stay positive and optimistic, because there are solutions, obviously, for everything, so that I will not sound very dramatic, but it's important. That would be my main conclusion. It's very important, and it's, again, probably the most underestimated health factor. Right. We focus so much on diet and sometimes on stress, and they are important as well. But sleep is, we almost think or position ourselves as if we are superheroes because we get along with 6 hours of sleep. I did it. I can get along with 6 hours of sleep or 5. And this is actually not healthy. No.
So, all right. So we have a gazillion reasons why we should be getting good sleep. Let's talk about how we do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that, but let's circle back a little bit to, when we're getting to sleep. Mm-hmm. Because I've heard that, if we get to the hours that we get to sleep before midnight, mm-hmm. are really good for our natural human growth production, and for melatonin production, mm-hmm. as well. So what time should we be going to bed?
So 10, maximum 11 would be ideal. Mm-hmm. And I need to mention the fact that things are different for everyone. And the reason why we use a genetic report and we like to look into people's DNA and genetics is this one. Some people can go a little bit later, but not very late. So what I like to call the prime time hours, the same way we have prime time hours on TV, we also have some prime time hours for our body. The prime time hours start around 10 and they end at 2 a.m. So there are 4 golden hours, if I can call them like that, in which we get the best possible hormone production in order for us to slow age, right, or to reverse our age. And one of the hormones you already mentioned, both of them actually, you mentioned melatonin, and you also mentioned human growth hormone. When I said the timing of sleep is important, what I meant was the fact that there are certain time intervals in which our body is producing certain hormones and we don't get them back. If we are trying to make up our sleep and take a nap the next day, we will not get the human growth hormone back. So if we lost the train, it's lost, it's gone. And I even like to use this metaphor. I like to say the fact that, and this is specifically about melatonin this time, and melatonin is also called the sleep hormone, and it's called like that for a reason. So there are 2 trains filled with melatonin, if you want, or 2 injections. One is coming at 10, So we get the first melatonin injection around 10 p.m. and the second one is around 4 a.m. So the reason why so many women are waking up for no reason around 4 is actually a lower level of melatonin produced by their body. And this is happening because we age. As we age, this is going on in our body. And melatonin is also very much linked with youth, the same way human growth hormone is linked with that. Another thing that human growth hormone is doing, other than being called the beauty hormone, just because it has the power to transform our skin and also to give us a certain level of energy and so on. There are so many things that this amazing hormone is doing in our body. Human growth hormone is it's the number one hormone helping every single woman be protected from breast cancer.
Right.
So if we are serious about that, if we really want to do prevention and protect ourselves before doing anything else, we should get these prime time hours in and respect these golden hours so that we will get as much as possible and we will be protected as much as possible from this type of cancer, which is not, it's a serious type of cancer, and statistics are not nice in regards to breast cancer, right? So ideally around 10, 11, the best hours are until 2. It doesn't mean we wake up at 2 and we can start working, right? It just means we should first respect these prime time hours, and then we can get up around 7 or 6 or even 8 if we need more hours in. And I always say, and this has to do with your question, what can we do? I always say the sleep hygiene starts in the morning. If you really want to sleep better, if you really want to have to change the quality, to improve the quality of your sleep, you should start in the morning by simply exposing yourself to sun, to natural light. And even if it's not sunny outside, it's very, very powerful and important for our body to be exposed to natural light. Now, and the reason for that is another magical hormone, which is serotonin. Mm-hmm. Serotonin has an incredible effect on mood and cognition, and 95% of our body's serotonin is located in our gut. Now, serotonin is very much influenced not just by exposure to natural light, but also the quality of our diet. So when I create a strategy for my clients, and of course, having the main objective to improve the quality of their sleep and to change their sleep hygiene, we start right there. We have a look at their morning rituals, and if they are exposed to natural light for at least 30 minutes a day, ideally between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. And from there, we craft the rest of the strategy. Indoor lighting, and this is something, especially now with COVID, so many of us are working from home. We don't travel so much anymore. We don't work in a working environment like in an office. And because of that, we are very much exposed to artificial lights. So indoor lighting is 100 times less bright than outdoor lighting on a sunny day.
Right.
And even during a cloudy day, if it's not sunny outside, we get 10 times more brightness than ordinary indoor lighting. So this is key for serotonin, and serotonin is a key hormone for the quality of our sleep, specifically deep sleep. And deep sleep is the type of sleep that regenerates or helps our body to regenerate and also to recharge our emotional battery. And when I explain this, I oftentimes say there is a physical battery that's recharging during the night, and then there is the emotional and mental battery that's also recharging during the night. And if deep sleep is not there, ideally we should get between 13% and 25% of from the total sleep should be deep sleep. So if we don't get enough deep sleep, chances are we are not rested from the emotional and mental point of view the second day. So the ability to take proper decisions, the ability to focus, the ability to actually interact with other people in a nice and calm way is decreasing. So what else can we do? In the morning, other than being exposed to natural light, we don't really need to do anything else. Melatonin, our bodies will stop producing melatonin around 6-7 a.m. So the production is decreasing around that time. Right. And what happens there, cortisol, this is another wonder hormone, even though it has a bad reputation generally, yes. Cortisol kicks in. Yeah, cortisol kicks in. And cortisol is actually, even though we treat it as, I don't know, the ugly duckling.
The stress hormone.
It's the stress hormone, and we don't want cortisol, right? It's the problem child hormone, if you want.
Yes.
So cortisol, it's important. We have 77 plus hormones in our body, and there are 7 that are actually key hormones. I like to call them key hormones. They are the metabolic hormones, and cortisol is one of them. Now, cortisol has a bad reputation because it makes us fat, tired. There is a list of things that are, but it's problematic when the level is either too high or too low.
Right.
Cortisol is vital for our body's performance and health. So this exchange is happening around 6-7 in the morning. And then we can go and take care of our days and tasks and so on. Now, before going to bed, what we can do, there are several things we should pay attention at. The number one thing there is, and I'm sure this is not a piece of news for most of your listeners, screens. Trying our best to close the screens at least 2 hours, ideally 3 hours before going to bed. The production of melatonin is inhibited and lowered the moment we are exposed to what we call the blue light, that light emitted by the screen, whether it's a laptop or a phone or a tablet, it doesn't matter the type of screen. So closing the screens is very important if we want to get that yummy melatonin in the injection, and specifically in our midlife years. This is important because, again, the production of melatonin is decreasing anyways.
Right.
No alcohol before bed.
So when we're talking about alcohol and food, how long before we have our last food and drink?
Ideally 3 hours. Ideally 3 hours. Yeah. So if we aim to go to bed, if we decide we are going to change our hygiene, sleep hygiene, and start going to bed at 10, 7 should be the last hour when we eat and drink. If we want to have a glass of wine.
Yeah, personally, that's made a massive difference for me. I'll eat dinner about 6:37. And then that's it. I get to bed about 10:30. And it's made all the difference with my night sweats and the quality of my sleep. It's been life-changing.
Yeah. And it's something that it will also help us with weight management, obviously, because we don't eat right before going to bed. But again, for sleep, if you want, everything is diet, what we eat, when we eat, the timing of our meals, and also the timing of our sleep, they are all so interconnected, very much linked to each other. Our body functions, there are 3 cycles on which our body is functioning. The first cycle starts at 12 and ends at 8 p.m. So these are the first 8 hours. And this is the ideal feeding cycle, if I can call it like that. So ideally, we should consume food, or most of our food, between 12 and 8 p.m. The second cycle starts at 8 p.m. and ends at 4 a.m. And this is when our body is literally processing what we gave in that first interval, the feeding, if you want, the feeding cycle. So they take in everything, and then our body literally process by putting on the side what's not needed and keeping the nutrients and taking care of all all the goodies so that it will function properly. And this is happening during the night while we sleep. It's very interesting what's going on inside our body. Even our cells are decreasing they function at 60% capacity. I think this is the best way to explain, so that dysfunctional cleaning, if I can put it like that, is actually proper, is going on the right way. So while we sleep, I oftentimes use this metaphor. It's almost like a group of cleaning ladies are coming in and taking care of each organ and doing what's good for our body, and also separate what's not good so that we can eliminate. And this is happening in the third cycle. So the third cycle starts at 4 a.m. and ends at 12. This is the last cycle. And this is also the detoxification cycle, in which our body is literally taking out the waste, if I can call it like that, everything that's not necessary. This is the reason why we have a certain taste and smell in our mouth. This is the reason why the first thing we need to do is to go to the toilet, right? To use the toilet, and then to drink lots of water. So the reason is exactly this one, the fact that our body needs to clean out, to take out all the residues. So these are the 3 cycles. And if we think about it, it makes perfect sense to eat at 7 right before that feeding cycle ends, and then to give our body the chance to prepare for what's coming up during the night or over the night. So it's these are things that are there since forever. The Chinese medicine talked about the 3 cycles 2,000 years ago, right? And this is something that we talk about in the modern medicine for probably 10 years. We started to actually, and the reason why intermittent fasting, for example, works and it's so trendy and so many people are embracing intermittent fasting has to do with our body cycle as well. Right. So many people do intermittent fasting by skipping breakfast. We can function without breakfast. There is we have no doubt there. Some of us, right?
I've actually replaced my breakfast meal with a shake, which,
perfect. It's a liquid food type of food. And it's also, this is easier for your body. Liquid foods are way easier to be digested. So you still give the chance to your body to properly process what needs to be processed, so that there is not an overlap of food after food after food without being released.
And it's kind of like, I have the shake in the morning, but I sip it. So it's not like I just chug it. I make sure I sip it. And so by the time I get to 12, I'm hungry. And I think it's good for us to get to a point where we feel hungry every once in a while, rather than just eating because it's time to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great because you are actually, you feel that, and you don't, so many people don't even wait to feel hunger anymore. And snacking is part of our lives. Unfortunately, we snack so much and we eat all the time almost, especially if we have food under our nose. And this is not healthy. We need to leave some space in between meals for our body to process that food. So it's great. Congratulations. And it also means, this is also a sign for you that leptin, this is a great key hormone for weight loss. Leptin is working great. Leptin is in charge with hunger, and also with us having that sensation of being full or feeling like, yes, that was enough and I need to stop here. If there are issues with leptin, chances are we cannot stop. We don't know when to stop. We keep eating, and we also don't feel hunger anymore. So congrats for that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's really has helped a lot. So I think the last thing I want to ask you about is, if we are being challenged in getting to sleep or staying asleep, is there a supplement or something that you would recommend that would be great to help us to do that?
I would say before getting to supplements, I would check a few things. I would check the level of movement, exposure to light. I would definitely recommend a night walk. outside in the nature, like to breathe some fresh air. The consumption of food as well. Hydration is also important. I would also check the room temperature.
Yes.
I would also check the humidity, the level of humidity. The ideal level of humidity would be between 30% and 50%. And then I would, so supplements are, if you want, Natalie, they are the last resort. They are the last thing on the list. And sometimes the only supplement we need is melatonin, just because our body is not producing enough. So we don't need to, and I know sleeping pills are so trendy and we jump so fast to that, but in 90%, it looks like 90% of those 30% of people who experience issues or challenges in regards to sleep, 90% of them have lifestyle-related issues with their sleep.
Right.
Not necessarily functional or issues that have to do or are related to their physiology, to their body. They are very much linked with either the environment or their behavior before going to bed, or if you want, their nighttime routine or nighttime ritual.
Right.
And this can be fixed. There are many things like plants to be checked, and sometimes even having a humidifier with cold vapors in our bedroom is as simple as that, just because we don't have the right level of humidity, and that can wake us during the night, or instead of putting us to bed and helping us to fall asleep fast, we keep ruminating and thinking about this and that and being busy, having a busy mind without actually being able to properly sleep. So aside from melatonin, there is another one I usually recommend. So this would be the second best. Actually, they can work together very well because they do two very different things. This is a great supplement. This is the brand, but we talk here about magnesium, and this is the type of magnesium that you literally place and use on your skin. Right. Instead of taking it as a pill, it's way more efficient to use it on your skin. So these two would be my top two.
Right.
And then, of course, depending on each person's issues. And again, we are so different. One size doesn't fit all when it comes to health. Mm-hmm. This is the reason why personalization is I am so passionate about personalizing the journey for everyone, so that they can. And again, there are clients I work with who need to take 3 or 4 supplements for sleep only. It doesn't mean it's good for everyone to take them. It just means they have a specific need to take those supplements, and they are not forever. They take it for a while. Some of them are evergreens. Two of them I'm thinking about specifically about one of my clients. So she needs to take 2 of them like for the rest of her life, and the other 2 are just for a few months. But this is for her. It doesn't mean everyone should take melatonin or everyone should use ease. I mention ease because magnesium is generally an issue. Statistically speaking, this is a problem for the majority of the population, and specifically for women during midlife years. Yeah. So chances are magnesium is good for most of us, not just for some of us.
Well, my latest solution has been magnesium and valerian.
That's also good. Yeah. And it's great. I like the tea specifically. It's, I like
it doesn't taste good.
I love it. It's funny, right? Because one of my friends, she was like, you like I would throw away all these type of teas. There is another one. I'm not sure in English is Pelin, or if you are familiar with this type of tea. It's bitter. It's.
Yeah, I think it's chamomile. Chamomile can be a little bit like that as well.
Chamomile I like as well. Yeah, chamomile I like. So I probably just because I like tea in general. It doesn't matter if it's bitter or it's not bitter. So I like that.
Wonderful.
But there are supplements as well. So I'm sure you know about that. So
yeah. Well, Larisa, it's been amazing chatting with you today. Our sleep hygiene it can be so, like I said in the beginning, very elusive for us at this time of our life. It can be quite a struggle, and it just permeates out into everything. It just, like you said, there's a gazillion reasons why we want to be looking at, our quality of our sleep. So if people wanted to connect with you and find out more about what you do and maybe work with you, where can we send them to do that?
You just said the word connect, and the place where they can connect with me is connectwithlarisa.com.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, it's as simple as that. And then there is a free cheat sheet I created on 10yearsback.com. This is a free PDF for everyone if they want to get some amazing tips on age reversal. And then on keepglowing.com, we announce our free masterclasses, upcoming free masterclasses. So connectwithlarisa.com, 10yearsback.com, and then keepglowing.com are the best websites where they can reach out and check what we do.
Wonderful. We'll make sure that all three of those URLs are in the show notes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you again, Larisa. Great chatting with you. Very informative. It's been fantastic.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for having me. Thank you so much.